the discovery that shattered everything. She found the ring in her sister's underwear drawer, her wedding ring, the one she'd buried with her husband 6 months ago. Maya's hands trembled as she held the platinum band up to the afternoon light streaming through Natalie's bedroom window. The inscription inside was unmistakable. M&D Forever, June 15, 2019. Her wedding date. Her promise. Her life before it all fell apart. She'd only come to Natalie's apartment to return the spare keys. Her younger sister had been so supportive after David's sudden death, the car accident that took him on a rainy October night. Natalie had held her through countless nights of sobbing, made her eat when she'd forgotten food existed, and slowly helped her remember how to breathe again. But now, standing in her sister's bedroom with David's wedding ring clutched in her shaking hand, Maya felt the ground beneath her feet dissolve into nothing. Her mind raced backward, piecing together fragments she'd ignored. The way Natalie had insisted on handling David's funeral arrangements, how she'd volunteered to sort through his belongings, to spare Maya the pain. The expensive new apartment Natalie had moved into just weeks after the funeral, far beyond what a receptionist's salary could afford. Maya's phone buzzed. A text from Natalie. * running late, sis. Make yourself at home. Wine in the fridge. * make herself at home. In the apartment her dead husband had apparently been paying for. # the phone that told the truth. Maya's legs gave out and she sank onto Natalie's bed, the ring burning in her palm like a coal. She shouldn't look further. She should leave. But her hand was already reaching for the nightstand drawer. Inside she found a phone. Not Natalie's usual iPhone with the pink case, but an older Samsung with a cracked screen. Maya's thumb hovered over the power button. This was a violation of privacy, a line she'd never crossed. She pressed it anyway. The phone lit up with no password protection, and the screen filled with messages. The contact name made her stomach drop. My David with a heart emoji. Maya scrolled with numb fingers, each message a fresh wound. * David. Can't wait to hold you tonight. Told Em I have a late meeting. *. Natalie. I hate lying to her, but I can't give you up. *. David, soon baby. Soon we'll tell her. We'll be together properly. *. Natalie. She trusts me completely. God, that makes it worse. *. David. She'll understand eventually. What we have is real. What I have with her. It's just routine now. *. The date spanned back 2 years. 2 years of lies. 2 years of her sister and her husband meeting in secret, laughing at how easily they fooled her, planning a future that would destroy her. Maya scrolled faster, tears streaming down her face, each message a knife twisting deeper. * David. Bought you something special. That apartment you loved? It's yours. Our place. *. Natalie. You didn't. David, this is too much. *. David. Nothing's too much for you. Em never appreciated what I could give her. Always so practical, so boring. You make me feel alive. *. There were photos too. Natalie in lingerie Maya had never seen. David's arms around her sister in restaurants Maya had never been to. Selfies taken in bed, their faces glowing with post-sex satisfaction. The most recent message was dated October 12th, the day before David died. * Natalie, tonight? Please. I need you. * David. Can't tonight, baby. Em's being clingy. Tomorrow I promise. I'll tell her I have a business trip. We'll have the whole weekend. *. But tomorrow never came. Because that night David had died on a rain-slicked road, and Maya's world had shattered, or so she thought. Now she realized her world had been a lie long before that. # the sister who wore black. The apartment door opened and Natalie's voice called out, Maya? You here? Maya quickly shoved the phone back in the drawer and slipped David's ring into her pocket. She wiped her eyes and forced herself to stand, her legs unsteady. In here, she called, her voice surprisingly steady. Natalie appeared in the doorway, stunning as always in a black dress that hugged her curves. At 28, she was 5 years younger than Maya, with the kind of effortless beauty that made heads turn. Dark hair that fell in perfect waves, green eyes that sparkled with mischief, a smile that seemed to promise secrets. Now Maya knew what secrets that smile had been hiding. Sorry I'm late. Traffic was insane. Natalie dropped her designer bag on the bed. Another thing she shouldn't have been able to afford. Her eyes were red-rimmed, and Maya realized with a jolt that her sister had been crying, playing the grieving friend, the supportive sister, the liar. You okay? Maya asked, the words tasting like poison. Natalie wiped at her eyes. Sorry, I was driving past the cemetery and... She dissolved into fresh tears. Maya watched her sister cry, real tears, genuine sobs, and felt something cold settle in her chest. Natalie had loved him. This wasn't just an affair. Her sister had been in love with David, and his death had broken her heart too. But she'd never told Maya. Never confessed. Never faced the consequences of what she'd done. Instead, she'd comforted Maya at the funeral, held her hand during the burial, helped her pick out the outfit to bury David in, and slipped his wedding ring off his finger before the casket closed. Come here, Maya said, opening her arms. Natalie collapsed into her embrace, sobbing against her shoulder. I miss him so much, she whispered. I miss him every day. Maya held her sister, feeling the weight of betrayal like stones in her stomach. I know, she said softly. I know you do. ## the plan takes shape. That night, Maya sat in her own apartment, the home she'd shared with David, now feeling like a museum of lies. Every photo on the wall mocked her. Every piece of furniture whispered of deception. She pulled out David's ring and stared at it. She should have been angry. She should have been screaming, breaking things, confronting Natalie with everything she'd found. But Maya had always been the calm one, the practical one, the boring one according to David's messages. And practical Maya knew that screaming wouldn't satisfy the hollow ache in her chest. Confrontation would give Natalie a chance to explain, to cry, to beg forgiveness. Maybe even to paint herself as the victim, seduced by her sister's husband, unable to resist, tormented by guilt. No, Maya wanted something else. Something that would hurt the way she was hurting. She opened her laptop and began to research. David had been a successful investment banker, and his life insurance payout had been substantial. $2 million that Maya hadn't touched yet. Money that Natalie probably expected to benefit from, playing the supportive sister until Maya's grief made her generous. Maya pulled up David's financial records. She'd been named executor of his estate, which meant she had access to everything. Bank accounts, investment portfolios, and most importantly, property records. The apartment David had bought for Natalie was in his name. Purchased 14 months ago for $800,000 paid in cash. Money he'd diverted from their joint accounts with fake invoices and phantom business expenses. Maya's fingers flew over the keyboard, making calls, sending emails, setting things in motion. If Natalie wanted to play the grieving mistress, then Maya would let her. She'd play the trusting sister, the widow who needed support, the woman too broken to see what was right in front of her. And when the time was right, she would take everything. ## the widow who learned to smile again. 3 weeks later, Maya met Natalie for lunch at their favorite cafe. She'd lost weight and dark circles shadowed her eyes, but she wore a smile that almost felt real. You look good, Natalie said, though her eyes held doubt. Are you doing okay? I'm trying, Maya said, picking at her salad. Dr. Morrison thinks I'm making progress. The grief counselor, she added, referencing the therapist she'd actually stopped seeing weeks ago. That's good. I'm proud of you. Natalie reached across the table and squeezed her hand. Her fingers were cold. I've been thinking, Maya said slowly, about what to do with David's life insurance money. Feels wrong to just spend it. Like I'd be benefiting from his death. Natalie's expression shifted. Just for a moment, a flicker of interest she quickly masked with concern. You shouldn't think like that. David would want you to be taken care of. Maybe. Maya stirred her iced tea. I thought about starting a foundation in his name. Something for road safety, maybe. Scholarships for kids who've lost parents in car accidents. She watched Natalie's face carefully. The younger woman's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. That's beautiful, Natalie said. Really beautiful. But Maya, you should think about yourself too. That money could give you security. You could quit your job, travel, start over somewhere new. Is that what you do? Maya asked innocently. If you had that kind of money? Natalie's eyes went distant. I try to be happy. I'd honor the person's memory by living the life they'd want me to live. The life you planned with him, Maya thought. The life where you got everything and I got nothing. You're right, Maya said, nodding. David would want me to be happy. Maybe I will travel. Maybe I'll even. She paused, as if the thought just occurred to her. Maybe I'll start dating again. Eventually. Natalie's smile tightened. It's too soon for that, don't you think? Dr. Morrison says there's no timeline for grief. Everyone heals differently. Maya took a sip of her tea. Actually, I met someone. At the gym. He's nice. Makes me laugh. It was a lie, there was no one. But Maya watched with satisfaction as her sister's face went pale. Already. Natalie's voice was strained. Maya, it's only been 6 months. I know. I'm not rushing into anything. But it feels good to remember that I'm still alive. That I deserve to be happy. Maya leaned forward. David would want that for me, right? He'd want me to move on. Natalie's hands trembled as she lifted her water glass. Of course. Of course he would. But her eyes told a different story. In them Maya saw jealousy, pain, and rage barely contained. Good. Let her feel it. Let her taste the bitterness of watching someone else have what she wanted. ## the business partner who knew too much. Maya's next move came through an unexpected source. James Corrigan, David's former business partner. He called her 2 days after her lunch with Natalie. Mrs. Hartwell? I hope I'm not intruding. But there's something I need to discuss with you. In person, if possible. They met at a quiet wine bar downtown. James was in his 50s, distinguished with silver gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. He'd spoken at David's funeral, praising his partner's business acumen and loyalty. Now he slid a manila folder across the table to Maya. I debated whether to show you this, James said quietly. David was my friend. But you deserve to know the truth. Inside the folder were financial statements, email printouts, and photographs. Evidence of David's embezzlement from their firm. Small amounts at first, then larger sums. Nearly $300,000 over 2 years. Carefully hidden in false accounts. I discovered it a week before he died, James said. I was going to confront him. Then the accident happened and I didn't know what to do. The money was gone, spent. Probably on that apartment his mistress was living in. Maya's hand froze on the papers. You knew about her? James nodded grimly. I saw them together once. I didn't know it was your sister until I saw her at the funeral. He paused. I'm sorry, Maya. I should have told you then. But you were already destroyed. I didn't want to add to your pain. Why tell me now? Because she came to see me yesterday. James's jaw tightened. Natalie. She asked me if David had left any assets in the company. Pension funds, stock options, anything she might be entitled to as, and I quote, the woman he truly loved. The wine bar seemed to tilt around Maya. Her sister had gone to David's business partner. Had admitted the affair. Had tried to claim money that belonged to Maya. What did you tell her? Maya asked, her voice deadly calm. That she had no legal claim to anything. That David's entire estate went to his legal spouse, you. James leaned back. She didn't take it well. Threatened to go public with the affair. To ruin David's reputation unless I did the right thing. But you have evidence of David's embezzlement. If she goes public, you could prosecute his estate. Exactly. James smiled grimly. I made sure she understood that. Told her if she stayed quiet, I'd let the embezzlement slide. Write it off as a loss. But if she caused problems? He shrugged. David's legacy would be destroyed, and she'd get nothing. Maya processed this information, her mind working through the implications. Natalie was desperate enough to blackmail David's business partner. Desperate enough to risk everything. Which meant she was running out of money. Thank you for telling me, Maya said finally. And James? Don't write off the embezzlement just yet. I might need that information later. James studied her with new respect. David always said you were smarter than you let on. I'm beginning to see what he meant. As Maya left the wine bar, she felt the final pieces of her plan clicking into place. Natalie wanted money. Natalie needed money. And Maya was going to make absolutely certain she never got a penny. But first she needed to twist the knife a little deeper. Hashtag the new man who wasn't really new. His name was Marcus Webb, and Maya had hired him from a very exclusive, very discreet agency. He was an actor between jobs, handsome in a rough-around-the-edges way that suggested danger and excitement. Exactly the kind of man who would catch Natalie's attention. Maya paid him well to play the role of her new boyfriend, to meet her for coffee where Natalie would accidentally see them, to bring flowers to her door when her sister was visiting, to look at Maya with adoring eyes and make Natalie wonder what she'd lost. The first time they arranged an encounter, Maya watched her sister's face across the cafe. She'd texted Natalie suggesting they meet, knowing Marcus would surprise her by showing up. "Maya," Marcus said, all charm and confidence as he approached their table. "I thought I'd find you here." He leaned down and kissed her cheek. Nothing inappropriate, just familiar enough to establish intimacy. Maya saw Natalie's hands clench under the table. "Natalie, this is Marcus. Marcus, my sister Natalie. The famous sister." Marcus extended his hand with a warm smile. "Maya talks about you all the time. Says you've been her rock these past months." Natalie's smile was frozen. "I try to be there for her." "Well, I'm grateful. She's pretty special." Marcus's hand rested possessively on Maya's shoulder. "Listen, I know you two are catching up. I just wanted to say hi. Dinner tonight's still on, beautiful." "Absolutely," Maya said, letting herself lean into his touch. She saw something crack in Natalie's expression. When Marcus left, Natalie's composure shattered. "How long have you been seeing him?" "A few weeks. He makes me feel alive again, Nat. Like I'm not just David's widow. Like I'm a woman with my own future." "It's too fast," Natalie said, her voice sharp. "You're not thinking clearly. You're vulnerable. He could be taking advantage." "The way you think about David?" Maya interrupted gently. "When you told me I should be happy, that I should move on, I'm just taking your advice." Natalie fell silent, trapped by her own words. Over the next few weeks, Maya made sure Natalie saw plenty of Marcus. Romantic dinners captured in carefully staged social media posts. Weekend getaways mentioned casually in conversation. Intimate moments that made it clear Maya was falling in love. Each post, each mention, each glimpse of happiness was designed to torture Natalie with what she'd lost. David was dead. Their affair was buried with him. And now Maya, boring practical Maya, was finding joy again while Natalie suffered in silence. But the real twist was yet to come. Hashtag the eviction notice. It arrived on a Tuesday morning, delivered by courier to Natalie's apartment. Maya knew because she'd arranged for it to be delivered at 9 a.m. sharp, when Natalie would be home. She waited exactly 30 minutes before calling. "Maya." Natalie's voice was panicked. "Did you know about this?" "Know about what?" "The apartment. David's apartment. I just got an eviction notice. They're saying the property is being sold and I have 30 days to vacate. But I thought I didn't know." Her sister was crying now, full sobs that might have moved Maya once. "I don't understand," Maya said, infusing her voice with confusion. "What apartment? What does David have to do with your apartment?" Silence on the other end. Heavy, damning silence. "Natalie." Maya pressed. "Why would you get an eviction notice related to David?" Maya, I need to tell you something." Natalie's voice broke. "I should have told you months ago. Years ago. But I couldn't. I couldn't hurt you." "What are you talking about?" "David helped me with the apartment. Loaned me money. I was going to pay him back. But then he died, and I didn't know the loan was secured against the property, and now his estate is calling it in and—" The lies spilled out, desperate and clumsy. Maya listened silently, letting her sister dig herself deeper. "How much did he loan you?" Maya asked finally. $50,000, Natalie whispered. Another lie. The apartment had cost far more. $50,000. Maya let the amount hang in the air. "That's a lot of money to loan without telling your wife." "He wanted to help me. He was always so generous, so kind. Kind enough to hide an $800,000 property purchase from his wife?" Maya's voice was ice now. "Kind enough to have an affair with my sister for 2 years?" The silence that followed was absolute. "You knew," Natalie breathed. "I've known for weeks. Since I found David's ring in your drawer. Since I read all your messages. Since I discovered every lie you've told me since the funeral." Maya, please. The apartment is being sold, Maya continued, her voice steady despite the rage burning in her chest. As executor of David's estate, I've decided to liquidate all his assets. The proceeds will go to the charitable foundation I'm establishing in his name. You have 30 days to leave. You can't do this. I have rights. What rights? You were his mistress. You have no legal claim to anything. Maya felt a cold satisfaction in delivering these words. But don't worry. I'm sure Marcus can help you find somewhere new to live. Or maybe you could ask James Corrigan for that money David stole from their company. Oh wait. You already tried that, didn't you? How did you? Goodbye, Natalie. I'll have someone collect my spare keys. I won't be needing them anymore. Maya ended the call and sat in the silence of her apartment. It wasn't enough. The eviction, the revelation that she knew, it wasn't enough to balance the scales. But it was only the beginning. Natalie showed up at Maya's door at 11 p.m. 3 days later. She'd been crying, her mascara was smudged, her hair disheveled. She looked smaller somehow, diminished by desperation. Please, she said when Maya opened the door. Please let me explain. Maya wanted to slam the door in her face. Wanted to tell her to go to hell. But she'd learned patience these past weeks. Learned to savor each moment of her revenge like a fine wine. Come in, she said, stepping aside. Natalie collapsed on the couch, the same couch where she'd sat dozens of times before, comforting Maya through her grief. Now she was the one falling apart. I loved him, Natalie said, the words tumbling out. I know that doesn't excuse what we did, but Maya, I loved him so much. It started at your anniversary party 3 years ago. We were talking and he was so charming, so attentive. He made me feel seen in a way no one else ever had. Maya listened, her face impassive. She'd heard enough of David's lies to know how the story went. He'd pursued Natalie, made her feel special, promised her things he never intended to deliver. We fought it at first, Natalie continued. We knew it was wrong. But every time we tried to stop, we couldn't. The feelings were too strong. And then one night we just gave in. In our bed. Maya asked quietly. Or did you have the decency to go to a hotel? Natalie flinched. I'm sorry. God, Maya, I'm so sorry. Were you going to tell me? Before he died, were you planning to confess? Yes. We were going to tell you after New Year's. David was going to ask for a divorce. We were going to start fresh, be honest about everything. Tears streamed down Natalie's face. Then the accident happened and I lost him too. I lost the man I loved, and I couldn't even grieve properly because everyone thought I was just the supportive sister. You weren't just grieving David, Maya said. You were grieving your future. The life you'd stolen from me. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. Maya's voice was sharp now. Every day for 2 years you hurt me. Every time you smiled at me. Every time you sat at our dinner table. Every time you called me to chat while David was probably with you. You destroyed my marriage, my trust, my entire life. And you never told me. I was afraid. Natalie sobbed. Afraid of losing you. Afraid of what it would do to our family, afraid of losing your comfortable life? Maya interrupted. The apartment David bought you? The allowance he was giving you? The promise of his life insurance money once I was gone? Natalie's face went white. What? I found it all, Natalie. The financial records. The plans. David was going to divorce me, sure. But did you know about the prenup? Maya leaned forward. Any infidelity voids the agreement. If I'd found out about you before the divorce, I would have gotten everything. David would have been left with nothing to give you. That's not. He wouldn't. Check his computer files. I did. He had lawyer consultations scheduled. He was planning to claim we'd grown apart, that the marriage had died naturally. All lies to protect his money. Maya smiled bitterly. You thought he loved you? He was protecting his assets. Natalie looked like Maya had slapped her. You're lying. Am I? Then why did he keep pushing back the date when you'd tell me? Why was it always after New Year's or after her birthday or after the holidays? Maya stood up. He was never going to leave me, Natalie. He was stringing you along because you were convenient. Young, pretty, and stupid enough to believe his lies. Stop it. Natalie screamed. You're just trying to hurt me because you're jealous. Because he loved me, not you. Because I made him happy in ways you never could. The words hung in the air between them. Maya felt something inside her go very still and very cold. Get out, she said quietly. Maya, get out of my home. You have 26 days left in the apartment. I suggest you start packing. Natalie stood on shaking legs. I'll fight this. I'll go to a lawyer. I'll do it, Maya said. Please. Because I have evidence of your affair ready to present in court. I have David's embezzlement records that James Corrigan will be happy to testify about. I have 2 years of messages showing premeditated deception. Try to fight me, Natalie, and I'll bury you. Her sister stared at her as if seeing her for the first time. Who are you? This isn't the Maya I know. You're right. The Maya you knew died the day I found David's ring in your drawer. This Maya. She smiled without warmth. This Maya knows exactly who she's dealing with. After Natalie left, Maya poured herself a glass of wine and stared out at the city lights. She didn't feel triumphant. She didn't feel satisfied. She felt empty. But at least the emptiness was honest. ## the mother who chose sides. The next bombshell came from an unexpected direction. Their mother. Catherine Reeves called Maya on a Sunday morning, her voice tight with controlled anger. I need you to come to the house. Now. We need to talk. Their mother lived in the family home in the suburbs, a sprawling Victorian where Maya and Natalie had grown up. Maya hadn't visited since David's funeral. Too many memories of bringing him home to meet her parents, of family dinners where he charmed everyone, of Christmas mornings when everything seemed perfect. She drove there with dread coiling in her stomach. Her mother was waiting in the garden pruning roses with sharp, precise movements. She didn't look up when Maya approached. Natalie told me everything, Catherine said. About the affair. About the apartment. About how you're forcing her onto the street. Maya's jaw tightened. Did she tell you it lasted 2 years? That she slept with my husband in my bed? That she kept his ring after the funeral? I don't care about the details. Catherine spun around, her pruning shears pointed at Maya like a weapon. She's your sister. Family. You don't destroy family over a man. The words hit Maya like a physical blow. A man? Mother, he was my husband. And he's dead now. What good does this revenge do? You're tearing this family apart over someone who can't even defend himself. Catherine's face was flushed with anger. Natalie is devastated. She loved David. Maybe more than you did. Maya felt the ground shift beneath her. You're taking her side. I'm taking the side of my living daughter over a dead man's memory. Catherine dropped the shears and gripped Maya's arms. Listen to me. Natalie made a mistake. Terrible mistake. But she's young. She didn't understand what she was doing. She was seduced by an older married man who took advantage of her. She was 26 when it started. Not a child. She knew exactly what she was doing. People make mistakes. You forgive them. You move on. Catherine shook her. But instead you're ruining her life. Taking away her home. Making her the villain when David was the one who was married, who made vows, who betrayed you. She's my sister. Maya shouted. She was supposed to be on my side. She comforted me at his funeral while wearing his ring. So punish her forever? Watch her struggle and suffer and feel superior about it. Catherine released her. Is that who you've become? Someone who gets satisfaction from causing pain. Maya stepped back, her mother's words cutting deeper than any betrayal. You want me to forgive her. I want you to be the bigger person. To choose family over revenge. Catherine's voice softened. Darling, I know you're hurt. But this path you're on. It's going to destroy you both. Let it go. Let her go. Move on with that nice man you've been seeing. Marcus. Her mother meant Marcus, the fake boyfriend. Another layer to the lie. I can't, Maya whispered. Can't or won't. Both. Maya turned away. She destroyed my marriage. My trust. My life. And now you want me to pretend it didn't happen? To smile and play happy family. I want you to heal. Real healing. Not this. Catherine gestured helplessly. This vendetta. Maya walked back to her car without another word. As she drove away, she saw Natalie's car parked 2 houses down. Her sister had been waiting there the whole time listening. She'd run to their mother, played the victim and won. Maya's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Fine. If her family wanted to choose Natalie's side, they could live with the consequences. 'Cause Maya was just getting started. Hashtag the truth about the accident. Maya met with James Corrigan again, this time in his office. He'd asked her to come in, said he had information she needed to hear. I've been doing some digging, James said, sliding another folder across his desk. Into David's death. The accident report never sat right with me. Maya opened the folder with trembling hands. Inside were police reports, witness statements, and most damning of all, David's phone records from the night he died. He was texting while driving, James said quietly. Multiple messages sent in the minutes before the crash. All to the same number. Maya didn't need to ask whose number. She could see it on the printout. Natalie's phone. The messages were frantic. Asterisk David, we can't keep doing this. It's killing me. Asterisk. Asterisk Natalie. You promised. You said after the holidays. Asterisk. David, Maya's pregnant. Maya's breath stopped. She read the line again, then again, trying to make sense of it. You were pregnant? James asked gently. No, Maya whispered. I wasn't. We've been trying for a year, but... She looked up. He lied to her. Told her I was pregnant to buy himself more time. Asterisk Natalie, you're lying. You said you didn't even sleep with her anymore. Asterisk. Asterisk David, it was one time. I was drunk. It didn't mean anything. Asterisk. Asterisk Natalie. So I wait another 9 months? Another year. When does this end? Asterisk. Asterisk David, I need time to think. This changes everything. Asterisk. Asterisk Natalie. If you don't leave her, I will tell her myself. I'm done being your secret. Asterisk. Asterisk David, don't you dare. Natalie, I'm warning you, asterisk. The messages ended there. 2 minutes later, David's car had veered off the road and hit a tree at 70 miles per hour. The police ruled it an accident, James said. Heavy rain, poor visibility. But David was an experienced driver. He'd driven that route 100 times. You think he crashed on purpose? Maya's voice was hollow. I think he was distracted. Angry. Maybe typing another message to your sister when he should have been watching the road. James paused. There's something else. David had been to see his lawyer that afternoon. Filed papers to update his will. Update it how? He was removing you as primary beneficiary, splitting everything 50-50 between you and Natalie, to be enacted in the event of divorce or legal separation. James's expression was grave. He was preparing to leave you, Maya, but he wanted to protect his assets first. Make sure Natalie got her share even if the divorce got messy. Maya felt like she was falling. Everything she thought she knew was crumbling. He was going to leave me, she said. Really leave me? It looks that way. I'm sorry. But Maya wasn't crying. Something else was rising inside her, something cold and calculating. Does Natalie know about the will? The 50-50 split? I doubt it. David died before he could file it properly. It was never executed. As far as the law is concerned, you're his sole heir. A plan was forming in Maya's mind. Terrible. Perfect. James, she said slowly, I want you to forge a document. He raised an eyebrow. Excuse me. A letter. From David to Natalie. Dated the day before he died. Telling her that he'd changed his will, that she'd be taken care of, that he was filing for divorce the following week. Maya met his eyes. Can you do that? Maya, that's fraud. I know. But no one will ever see it except Natalie. I just need her to believe it existed. To believe David was really going to leave me for her. Maya leaned forward. Can you do it? James was silent for a long moment. Then, what are you planning? To give my sister exactly what she deserves. Hope followed by complete destruction. James studied her, then slowly nodded. David had a very distinctive handwriting. I can replicate it. I forged his signature on business documents before when he was out of town. Thank you. Maya. James caught her arm as she stood to leave. Whatever you're planning, make sure you can live with it after. She pulled free. I'm already living with what they did to me. This will be easy. Hashtag the letter that changed everything. Maya had the letter delivered to Natalie via courier, exactly 2 weeks after the eviction notice. She'd timed it perfectly. Her sister would be desperate, emotionally vulnerable, ready to grasp at any shred of hope. The letter was a masterpiece of manipulation. James had captured David's handwriting perfectly, down to the way he looped his Y's and crossed his T's. The paper was aged slightly, made to look like it had been sitting in a drawer for months. My dearest Natalie, * by the time you read this, I'll have told Maya everything. I can't live this lie anymore. The guilt is consuming me, and you deserve better than being my secret. **. I've changed my will. You'll inherit half of everything, the insurance money, the properties, the investments. It's the least I can do after asking you to wait so long. My lawyer has the papers. After the divorce is final, we can finally be together properly. **. I know these past 2 years have been hard on you. Sneaking around, lying to your sister, wondering if I'd ever follow through. But I am. I'm choosing you. I'm choosing us. **. I love you more than I've ever loved anyone. You make me feel alive in ways I'd forgotten were possible. Maya and we've been dead for years, just going through the motions. But with you, everything is vivid and real. **. This time next year we'll be together. No more hiding. No more lies. Just you and me and the life we've been dreaming about. *. Forever yours, David. Maya watched from her car as the courier delivered the envelope. She'd parked 3 blocks away, but she had a clear view of Natalie's new apartment, a cramped studio in a bad neighborhood, the only place she could afford on her receptionist's salary. Through binoculars, she saw Natalie open the door, sign for the package, tear it open. Maya watched her sister's face transform, from confusion to shock to hope to anguish. Watched her collapse against the doorframe, clutching the letter like it was David himself. Maya lowered the binoculars, a cold smile on her lips. Now for phase 2. ## the lawyer who played along. 3 days later, Natalie received a call from David's lawyer. Actually Marcus, using a burner phone and a convincing baritone. Maya listened on another line as Marcus delivered his lines perfectly. Ms. Reeves? This is Howard Chun from Chan & Associates. I'm calling regarding David Hartwell's estate. I understand you received correspondence from Mr. Hartwell dated October 13th. Natalie's voice was breathless. Yes, I got his letter. He said he told me about the will. That I was supposed to inherit half of everything. That's correct. Mr. Hartwell came to our office on October 12th to execute those changes. However, there's a complication. What kind of complication? Mr. Hartwell passed away before the will could be properly filed with the court. Technically, the document isn't legally binding. His previous will, leaving everything to his wife, is the one on record. Silence. Then. But he wanted me to have it. He wrote it down. He came to your office. I understand, Ms. Reeves, and I want to help. But we need to move carefully. Mrs. Hartwell is the executor of the estate. If she discovers the amended will existed, she could contest it. Claim David wasn't of sound mind. Make things very messy. She already knows about us, Natalie said bitterly. She's kicking me out of my apartment. Taking everything. Which is why I'm calling. I may have a solution, but it requires your cooperation and complete discretion. Maya heard the shift in her sister's voice, from despair to hope. What kind of solution? Mr. Hartwell left certain assets in offshore accounts, liquid assets that aren't part of the official estate. He did this specifically to provide for you without involving his wife. Marcus's voice was smooth, professional. But accessing those funds requires some upfront capital. Legal fees, international transfer costs, court filings in the Cayman Islands where the accounts are held. How much? Approximately $50,000. I know it's a significant sum, but once we access the offshore accounts, you'll receive your full inheritance. We're talking about close to $1 million, Ms. Reeves. Half of David's life insurance payout, plus the investment funds he moved into your name. Maya heard her sister's breathing quicken. I don't have $50,000. Do you have access to any credit? Loans? Perhaps family who could help? I might. My mother has savings, and I have good credit. I could take out a personal loan. Then I suggest you move quickly. Mrs. Hartwell's lawyers are very thorough. If they discover these offshore accounts before we secure them, the funds will be absorbed into the estate. Marcus paused. I'm only telling you this because David specifically instructed me to ensure you were taken care of. He loved you very much, Ms. Reeves. Let me help you claim what he wanted you to have. After the call ended, Maya sat in silence. She should have felt guilty. This was fraud, pure and simple. She was setting up her sister to lose everything. But then she remembered 2 years of lies. Remembered David's ring in Natalie's drawer. Remembered her sister's tears at the funeral. Tears for herself, not for Maya. Guilt could wait. Hashtag the money that disappeared. Over the next 2 weeks, Natalie scrambled to raise the money. She took out a personal loan for $30,000. Borrowed $15,000 from their mother, lying about why she needed it. Maxed out 2 credit cards for the remaining $5,000. Maya knew all of this because she'd been monitoring her sister's credit report, another side benefit of having access to David's financial records, which included Natalie's information from when he'd co-signed her lease. The day Natalie wired the $50,000 to the law firm's offshore account, Maya was having lunch with Marcus at an expensive restaurant downtown. It's done, Marcus said, showing her the confirmation on his phone. The money's been transferred through 3 different accounts, completely untraceable back to us. And the account it's sitting in now? Registered to a shell corporation in the Bahamas. You're listed as the CEO under a fictitious business name. You can access it anytime. Marcus sipped his wine. I have to say, Maya, this is the most elaborate con I've ever been part of. Are you sure you want to go through with it? She stole 2 years of my life. My husband. My trust. My family. Maya cut into her steak with precise movements. $50,000 is a bargain compared to what she took from me. And when she realizes there's no inheritance, no offshore accounts, that she's been scammed, she'll be destroyed, financially and emotionally. Maya met his eyes, which is exactly what she deserves. Marcus leaned back, studying her. You know, when you first hired me, I thought this was just a bitter wife getting petty revenge. But this. He gestured at the invisible web she'd woven. This is something else entirely. You're good at this. I had good teachers, Maya said quietly. My husband taught me how to lie. My sister taught me how to betray. I'm just applying their lessons. 3 days after the wire transfer, Howard Chan called Natalie again. Ms. Reeves? I'm afraid I have bad news. Maya listened from her end of the line as Marcus delivered the killing blow. The Cayman accounts have been frozen. It appears Mrs. Hartwell's legal team discovered them and filed an injunction. They're claiming the funds were acquired through embezzlement from Mr. Hartwell's firm. Marcus's voice was heavy with regret. I'm so sorry. We moved as quickly as we could, but her lawyers were faster. What about my money? Natalie's voice was panicked. The $50,000 I sent you. That money was used for legal fees and court filings, exactly as I explained. Unfortunately, with the accounts frozen, we can't recover those costs. The case will likely be tied up in litigation for years. No. You said I'd get the inheritance. You said David wanted me to have it. And he did. But his wife is the legal executor. She has the power to contest everything. Without a properly filed will, there's nothing more I can do. A pause. I'm truly sorry, Ms. Reeves. I believed we could make this work. The line went dead. Maya sat in her apartment, listening to silence on the other end. She imagined Natalie's face, the hope draining away, replaced by the dawning realization of what she'd lost. $50,000. Money Natalie didn't have. Money she borrowed, stolen, scraped together on the promise of a fortune that never existed. Maya should have felt victorious. Instead, she felt hollow. But she wasn't done yet. Hashtag the final confrontation. Natalie showed up at Maya's apartment 2 days later. She didn't knock. She used the key Maya had never thought to ask for back and burst through the door like a hurricane. You did this, she screamed. You set me up. There never was any offshore account, was there? No amended will. No inheritance. Just you destroying me. Maya looked up from her laptop, her expression calm. I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. Howard Chun doesn't exist. I went to the address he gave me, It's a mail drop. The phone number is disconnected. The wire transfer went to some shell company in the Bahamas. Natalie was sobbing now, mascara running down her face. You stole $50,000 from me. Did I? Or did you give it to a scammer because you were so desperate to get money you weren't entitled to? Maya stood up, her voice dangerously quiet. Let me ask you something, Natalie. Why did you think you deserved David's money? You weren't his wife. You weren't even brave enough to admit what you were doing. You were just his mistress. His secret. His dirty little affair. He loved me. He used you. Maya's voice cracked like a whip. He lied to both of us. Told you he'd leave me. Told me you were just a friend. Meanwhile, he was stealing from his business, buying you apartments, and planning to divorce me in a way that protected his money. Not because he loved you. Because he was a selfish bastard who wanted everything. Natalie stared at her, chest heaving. You forged that letter. David never wrote it. Prove it. Oh wait, you can't. Because you don't have access to David's real documents. I do. As his widow. Maya moved closer. Do you know what I found when I went through his things? His diary. Want to know what he wrote about you? She pulled out her phone and read from a note she'd typed. Natalie is fun but exhausting. Always pushing for more commitment, more promises, more money. Sometimes I think about ending it, but she's convenient. And she makes me feel young. Maya would never understand, but maybe that's the point. I need both of them for different reasons. You're lying, Natalie whispered, but her voice wavered. Am I? Or are you just realizing that the man you destroyed your family for saw you as a convenience? Maya's smile was cruel. You gave up your sister, your integrity, and now $50,000 for a man who wrote about you like you were a hobby. How does that feel? Natalie's hand flew up and struck Maya across the face. The slap echoed in the apartment. Maya's head snapped to the side, her cheek burning. Slowly, she turned back to face her sister. Feel better? She asked quietly. You're a monster, Natalie spat. You've destroyed me. Taken everything. And for what? David's dead. This doesn't bring him back. No, it doesn't. But it makes us even. Maya touched her stinging cheek. You took 2 years of my life. I took $50,000 of yours. You took my husband. I took your hope. We're square now. Square. Natalie laughed bitterly. You think this makes us square? I'm in debt. I'm losing my apartment. Mom won't speak to me because I lied about why I needed money. My credit is destroyed. I have nothing. Welcome to how I felt the day I found David's ring in your drawer. Nothing. Destroyed. Wondering how I'd survive. Maya crossed her arms. The difference is I did survive. I built myself back up. I found my strength. Now it's your turn. I hate you, Natalie whispered. Good. That's honest at least. More honest than you've been in 3 years. Natalie turned to leave, then stopped at the door. Without looking back, she said, I loved him. Maybe he was using me. Maybe I was stupid. But I loved him. And losing him destroyed me just as much as it destroyed you. Then you understand, Maya said softly, why I had to destroy you back. After Natalie left, Maya sank onto her couch and cried for the first time since finding the ring. Not because she felt guilty. Not because she regretted what she'd done. But because she realized that revenge hadn't healed her. It had just made the wound different. 6 weeks after the confrontation, Maya lay awake at 3 a.m., staring at her ceiling. The apartment was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of traffic. But her mind was screaming. She'd won. By every measure, she'd beaten Natalie. Taken her money. Destroyed her credit. Exposed her affair. Made her feel the same crushing betrayal Maya had felt. So why did she feel worse than before? Maya grabbed her phone and opened social media. A habit she'd developed to track Natalie's downfall. Her sister's profiles had gone dark weeks ago. But Maya checked them compulsively anyway. Tonight there was a new post. A photo of Natalie standing on a bridge at sunset, her back to the camera. The caption read, Asterisk, some bridges you burn. Some bridges you jump from. Trying to figure out which is which. Asterisk. Maya's heart stopped. She sat up, rereading the words. The implications were clear, too clear. She called Natalie. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Voicemail. Natalie, it's me. I saw your post. Please call me back. Please. She tried again. And again. Each time voicemail. Maya threw on clothes and drove to Natalie's studio apartment in the bad part of town. She'd never actually been inside, had only watched from a distance. Now she took the grimy stairs 2 at a time and pounded on the door. Natalie. Open up. I know you're in there. No answer. Maya tried the doorknob. Locked. She slammed her shoulder against the door once, twice. On the third try, the cheap lock gave way and the door burst open. The apartment was empty. Not just empty of people, empty of everything. No furniture. No clothes. No sign anyone had ever lived there. On the floor in the middle of the room was an envelope with Maya's name on it. With shaking hands, Maya opened it. Dear Maya. Asterisk, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. Don't worry, not gone in the permanent sense, though I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. Just gone from this city, this life, this version of myself that let everything fall apart. Asterisk. Asterisk, you wanted revenge and you got it. $50,000, my credit, my home, my relationship with mom, my sense of self-worth, you took it all. And maybe I deserved it. Maybe that's the price of betraying your sister. Asterisk. But here's what you didn't take. David's real offshore account. Asterisk, there was one. Not in the Caymans, in Switzerland. He set it up 3 years ago, before he even started the affair with me. $500,000 in untraceable funds. He told me about it 2 months before he died, said it was our emergency money. If things went south with the divorce, if Maya got vindictive, we'd have this nest egg to start over. Asterisk. Asterisk, I never told you about it because I wanted to see how far you'd go. How much you'd destroy to feel satisfied. Turns out pretty far. Asterisk. Asterisk, the fake lawyer scam was clever. I'll give you that. I knew it was fake within 48 hours. I have a friend who's an actual lawyer and he checked. But I played along. Sent the money. Like you think you'd won. Because I wanted you to feel that rush of victory before I took it away. Asterisk. Asterisk, while you were celebrating my downfall, I was quietly accessing David's real account. $500,000. More than enough to start over somewhere new. Maybe I'll go to California. Maybe Europe. Somewhere I can be someone other than the woman who betrayed her sister. Asterisk. Asterisk, you wanted to destroy me, Maya. Instead, you freed me. Thank you for that. Asterisk. Asterisk, don't try to find me. I won't be using my phone or social media. This version of Natalie Reeves is dead. Time to see who I can be without all this weight. Asterisk. Asterisk, maybe someday you'll understand that revenge doesn't heal you. It just makes you like the people who hurt you. Asterisk. Maya read the letter 3 times, her hands shaking harder with each pass. It couldn't be true. There was no Swiss account. Natalie was lying, trying to make Maya feel like she'd lost. But a cold certainty was settling in her stomach. She pulled out her phone and called James Corrigan. Maya? It's 3 in the morning. Did David have a Swiss bank account? Be honest with me. Silence on the other end. Long enough to confirm her fears. James. I don't know for certain, he said finally. But there were some financial irregularities I could never fully track. Funds that would disappear from the company accounts and never showed up in David's regular banking. I assumed he was spending it on Natalie, but... He sighed. It's possible he was moving it offshore. Maya ended the call and sank to the floor of the empty apartment. Her elaborate revenge, her careful planning, her satisfaction in destroying Natalie. It had all been for nothing. No, worse than nothing. Because while she'd been playing mastermind, Natalie had been playing her. Hashtag the truth that Marcus knew. Maya drove straight from Natalie's apartment to Marcus's place. She'd been paying him to play her boyfriend. But over the weeks, they'd developed something close to friendship. Or so she thought. She pounded on his door until he answered, looking sleepy and confused. Maya? What's wrong? Did you know? She demanded, pushing past him into the apartment. About the Swiss account? Did Natalie contact you? Marcus's expression shifted just slightly, but enough. Maya felt the bottom drop out of her world. You did know. You helped her. Maya, calm down. How much did she pay you? Was it more than I was paying? Or did you just like her better? Maya's voice was rising. I trusted you. I told you everything. I made you part of my revenge plan. And it was a stupid plan. Marcus shot back. You wanted me to help you destroy your sister over an affair? Yeah, it was shitty what she did. But you were becoming obsessed. Consumed. I watched you turn into someone I didn't recognize. So you betrayed me. Went to Natalie. Told her everything. She came to me, Marcus said quietly. About 3 weeks ago. She'd figured out I was an actor you'd hired. Did some digging, found the agency. She offered me $50,000 to feed you false information about the Swiss account. Maya felt like she'd been punched. The $50,000 I scammed from her. She said she wanted you to feel what it was like to think you'd won, only to realize you'd lost everything. That you'd understand her pain better that way. Marcus ran his hand through his hair. Look, I know it sounds bad, but Maya, you were spiraling. This revenge thing was eating you alive. Maybe her way was cruel, but at least it might wake you up to what you were becoming. What I was becoming. I was getting justice. You were becoming like them. Marcus's voice was sharp now. David lied to you. Natalie lied to you. So you decided to become a liar too? To scam and manipulate and destroy? How does that make you better than them? They started it. And you chose to continue it. Marcus moved closer, his voice gentler. Maya, I liked you when we first met. You were hurt but strong. Determined to rebuild. But somewhere along the way the hurt turned toxic. The strength turned to cruelty. I couldn't keep enabling that. Maya felt tears streaming down her face. So everyone betrays me. Got it. Not everyone. Just the people you tried to use. Marcus caught her shoulders. Listen to me. Natalie's gone. Your revenge failed. You can either spiral deeper into this bitterness, or you can let it go. Choose to actually heal instead of just causing more pain. She won, Maya whispered. After everything, she won. Did she? She's alone in a foreign country with money bought through deception. You're here still standing with a chance to actually move forward. Marcus squeezed her shoulders. Who really won, Maya? She didn't have an answer. ## the mother who finally understood. Maya avoided her mother for 2 weeks after Natalie disappeared. She couldn't face the judgment, the disappointment, the inevitable lecture about family loyalty. But Catherine Reeves showed up at her door anyway, letting herself in with the spare key Maya had given her years ago. We need to talk, Catherine said, setting down a bag of groceries. And you need to eat. You look terrible. Maya wanted to argue, but she was too exhausted. She watched as her mother unpacked food and started making tea, the familiar ritual somehow comforting despite everything. Natalie called me, Catherine said finally. From a burner phone. Wouldn't tell me where she was, but she wanted me to know she was safe. Did she tell you about the Swiss account? About how she conned me the same way I conned her? She told me everything. The affair, the revenge, the money, all of it. Catherine poured 2 cups of tea and sat across from Maya. And I owe you an apology. Maya looked up surprised. I took Natalie's side without knowing the full story, Catherine continued. I saw my younger daughter hurting and assumed she was the victim. I didn't consider what you'd been through. What she'd done to you. She reached across the table and took Maya's hand. I'm sorry, sweetheart. You deserved better from me. The kindness in her mother's voice broke something in Maya. She started crying. Not the angry, bitter tears she'd shed before, but deep, wrenching sobs that came from years of holding everything together. Catherine moved around the table and held her, the way she had when Maya was a child. I tried to hurt her the way she hurt me, Maya sobbed. But it didn't work. It just made everything worse. Made me worse. I know, baby. I know. And now she's gone, and I'm still here feeling empty, and I don't know how to fix any of it. Catherine pulled back and looked into Maya's eyes. You can't fix it. What's done is done. David's dead. Natalie's gone. Your marriage was a lie. Those are facts you have to accept. Then what do? You choose what comes next. Do you want to keep carrying this anger, this bitterness? Or do you want to let it go and see who you can become without it? Maya wiped her eyes. I don't know how to let it go. You start small. One day at a time. One choice at a time. Catherine squeezed her hand. And you stop defining yourself by what they did to you. You're not just David's widow. You're not just Natalie's betrayed sister. You're Maya. Smart, strong, capable Maya. Who deserves a life that isn't built on revenge. They sat in silence drinking tea, while Maya processed her mother's words. She really took the money? Maya asked finally. The whole Swiss account? She did. And she asked me to give you this. Catherine pulled an envelope from her purse. Inside was a cashier's check for $50,000 made out to Maya. For your loss. Read the attached note in Natalie's handwriting. Asterisk, we're even now. Asterisk. Maya stared at the check, feeling the weight of everything that had happened. The lies. The betrayal. The revenge. The counter-revenge. All of it for nothing. What should I do with it? She whispered. Whatever will help you heal, Catherine said. But maybe don't use it for revenge this time. ## the journey to Switzerland. 3 months later, Maya stood in a bank in Zurich, staring at the account manager across the desk. I need to know if this account exists, she said, sliding a paper with the account number she'd found in David's old files she'd searched through one more time after Natalie left. The account manager checked his computer, his expression neutral. May I see your identification and proof of relationship to the account holder? Maya provided David's death certificate, their marriage license, and letters testifying to her role as executor of his estate. The manager reviewed everything carefully, then nodded. The account does exist. However, it was closed 3 months ago. All funds were withdrawn by the authorized second signer, Natalie Reeves. I cannot confirm the identity of other account holders due to privacy laws. But yes, the account is now empty. Maya nodded slowly. Thank you. That's all I needed to know. She walked out of the bank into the crisp Swiss air and started laughing. Not bitter laughter. Not angry laughter. Just the absurd laughter of someone who'd finally reached the end of a very long, very painful journey. Natalie had won. Completely and totally. She'd gotten the money, escaped the consequences, and left Maya holding nothing but her own bitterness.